Hello, this is Jay Black from the Winter Springs Dental Lab. In this video I want to go over different scanning techniques with Sirona's new inEos X5 scanner. It has a very short learning curve. It uses blue striped light along with high resolution imaging, has a larger capture area and greater depth of field along with autofocus. The new X5 has a 5-axis robotic arm and uses intelligent scanning to capture images faster without missing data. This scanner helps us to create a more efficient workflow at our lab. We are now able to work on other CAD/CAM cases while the X5 scans the next one. The first type of case I want to go over is doing a rotational scan on a single die. Let's say you have a case where you just need to make a coping real quick. What you need to do is place your die in one of the cups that came with your X5. There'll be one large one and various smaller ones. You want to fill them with the orange putty material or the blue tack material that came with your X5 scanner. Don't fill up that cup any higher than the very top of the edge. So once you have your tack material or putty in place, you want to place your single die in the larger cup. Make sure it's secured very well with the putty material. Then you're going to place that larger cup in the middle of the magnetic ring and then place the whole thing on top of the inEos X5 scanner's robotic arm. Alright, so let's say we're doing a framework coping for number 8. Just come over here, start from right to left, single, crown, framework. Click on number 8. Select your milling device, select your material. Hit OK. Next, click on the scan phase. Alright, we have a couple options that are going to come up. We have capture jaw, capture free, or capture rotation. For this particular case, we're going to do a capture rotation of our single die. You want to make sure there's nothing underneath the arm. Hit OK. So now we've placed our die inside of our cup in the middle of our magnetic plate, and we have a couple other options available now. We have single die at 60 degrees or single rotational scan at 75 degrees. You'll use the 75 degrees when you're scanning a heavily chamfered margin or scanning an abutment. I usually just use the single die 60 degrees. Go ahead and hit OK or hit start. The X5 will go ahead and auto focus on your die. Now we have our single die ready to go. We can arrow forward. The next type of scanning I want to go over is manual scanning. Let's say we want to scan a quadrant model. We'll go ahead and put our model on our model holder and manually take images where we want. Let's say for this particular case we want to do crowns number 3 and 4, full contour zirconia. Come over here to the right, single, crown, biogeneric, number 3 and 4. Select our milling device, select our material, hit OK. Next, click on the scan screen, or scan phase. We'll go ahead and place our model on our model holder. And for this particular scan, we're going to use the capture free scanning. So we click on capture free. You can see it has a larger scan area. To activate the scanner, you can either click the start button to take one picture, click on the start button on the inEos X5, double click on it and it'll take one image. Or we have capture auto here. If we click on capture auto, it'll automatically take an image. Every time we move and then become still, it'll take another image. So now let's say we want to move it a little bit. Once we stop moving, it takes another image. It'll go ahead and autofocus. To stop it, we can click on Capture Manual, take a look at our model, see any areas that we missed. Let's say we want to get these contacts a little bit better. Just rotate our model. It'll autofocus. Click on Start. It'll take a single image. You see it'll fill in that area right there. Let's say we want to fix this little spot right here. Just rotate our model to that position. Hit Start. All right, now that we have our contacts, we could get these areas if we want to, but do we need them? Maybe not. Obviously, our dies are missing some data, so what we're going to do is do a rotational scan. We have 2 dies for this particular case, so now we're going to use our smaller die holders that came with our X5. When you're scanning multiple preps at the same time, you can see that they're positioned in these outer circles here, and we only have 2 dies, so we're only going to use 2 of the cups here. Go ahead and place it on your scanner like this. So we'll go ahead and click on Capture Rotation. Make sure there's nothing in the way of the arm. Now we could just do 1 die at a time, but since we can do multiple, let's go ahead and do that. Click on MultiDie. Go ahead and place your magnetic holder on the arm. And it's very important that at least one of the dies is in view in the middle of the screen. So you wouldn't want to have it set, over like this. You want to make sure it's in the very middle. All right, go ahead and hit Start. The X5 will see how many dies it's dealing with. It sees that there's only 2, so it'll just scan those 2 dies. So now you can see it stitched those 2 dies into our model. Now we can go ahead and do the lower jaw. So we'll go ahead and click on Lower. We want to capture free again. The arm will rotate back up. Go ahead and place our lower model underneath the camera. And we can either click Start to take an image, or again we can click on Capture Auto. Now every time we get still, it'll take an image. We'll click on Buckle for the buckle bite. So for the buckle bite, you want to go ahead and rearticulate your model. Make sure it's in good centric occlusion. What I like to do is I position it on the model holder. That way it's nice and still. And then I'll go ahead and hold on to it to make sure it's closed all the way. So we'll place our model on the model holder. Make sure it's closed all the way, and then go ahead and hit the Start button. All you really need is one image near the prep or right on the prep area. Let's say you didn't like that last image, you can come down here and right click and it'll delete the last image that you took. Position our model, hit the start button. Now that we have all three catalogs filled, we can go ahead and arrow forward. We're going to go ahead and rescan this same model that we just did with manual scanning, but this time we're going to use the automatic scanning. There's two types of ways you can position your model. Some people like to use this blue tack material that comes with your scanner. If you don't use a base on your model, it's good for that. I like to go ahead and use the model vise that it came with. It fits in there really good. But if your model does not fit in that vise, you can use this tack material to hold your model in place. You can see how we place this model on our plate. You want to bring it all the way to the side. So if it was the other side, you would bring it over here, right on the edge. Go ahead and click on the scan phase. All right, click on capture jaw, hit OK. Go ahead and position your model on the model holder. Make sure you can see the teeth in view here. So now we have a few options under capture jaw. We have capture area, capture complete, or capture reduced. With capture complete, the entire jaw is automatically scanned with the highest level of detail. Capture reduced, the entire jaw is scanned, but a lower level of detail. You would use that for like an opposing model or something like that, where preps are not involved. With capture area, you're going to define what area you want scanned at a high level of detail. Usually it's the preparation area. All of the gaps in the digital model are going to be closed using the intelligent gap closing technique of the X5. All of the other areas of the model are scanned with a lower degree of detail. So for most of my cases with a few dies, I'm going to click capture area. Capture complete I would do maybe on a full roundhouse case with multiple dies. And this will take a little bit longer because it's going to fill every gap that needs to be filled. So capture area and hit start. All right, so now you're going to let the software know where your dies are located. What you're going to do is left mouse click and hold down, and then just pick whatever areas you want. Once you've highlighted that area of the preps, hit apply. So now it's going to go ahead and scan the model and fill in all the gaps necessary. So now that it's done scanning, we go ahead and look over our model, see if it missed any areas, and it did not. Let's say there was an area that it missed, like this area right here. You can position your model on the screen and then double click on that area. It'll rotate your model in the model holder and take an image of that area and fill it in. Looks good. All right, now if you want to, you can go ahead and still do your capture rotation of your dies. So click on capture rotation, and we're going to do multi-die. Position your magnetic plate on the holder and go ahead and hit start. Because this did such a good job with the dies, we're not going to go ahead and do that on this one. We'll go ahead and move right to the lower jaw. Go ahead and place our model on the model holder. Make sure the teeth are in view in the screen. Now for the opposing jaw, what I like to do is click on Capture Jaw and Capture Reduced. Hit Start. It's a lot faster of a scan. You don't need it to be as highly detailed as your prep model. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in all the areas it needs to. All right, after that's done, look over your model. See any places that it missed that you want to capture, just rotate your model to that position, double click. It'll rotate your model and get you a picture in that area. All right, that's really all we need. Next, we'll do the buccal bite. We'll go ahead and rearticulate our models. Set it on the model holder so you can be sturdy and not move. Once you're not moving, it'll autofocus. Once it's done focusing, just go ahead and hit start. We got our one image. Now we can arrow forward and we're ready to go. The last scan I want to go over is scanning a full arch upper model or upper and lower model using the automatic scanning feature. For this particular case, we're also going to scan the pre-op model that the doctor sent in the Biocopy folder. So again, we'll go ahead and position our upper model on our model holder like this, or you can use the blue tack material if you want to use that instead. So for this particular case, there's multiple units on it. We have a bunch of singles and a 3-unit bridge. Doctor sent a pre-op model, so we're going to go ahead and scan the pre-op as well, and he wants an exact duplicate for the bridge, let's say. So for the singles, we can just go ahead and do biogeneric. Choose our milling device and our material. But for the bridge, doctor wants a biocopy. So we'll click bridge, crown, biocopy. Click on our abutment teeth. Click on our ponic. Select material and our milling unit. All right, we're ready to go. Click on scan. All right, let's start with the upper jaw first. We're going to do capture jaw. Place our model on the model holder. For this case, we're going to do capture area. Let it take its occlusal images here. Go and let the software know which areas our preps are in. So we'll just highlight those areas. Hit apply. All right, go ahead and look at your model. See any areas that it missed. Missed that contact right there. Position your model, double click. One other quick thing I want to go over is we have a different mode over here on the right hand side. We have single exposure and multiple HDR exposure. Multiple HDR exposure stands for high dynamic range. This captures situations requiring a large dynamic range, which means differences in brightness during the exposure. This mainly concerns material mixes, for example, dark plaster, abutments covered with OptiSpray when using scan wax, or when capturing silicone impression trays using several multicolored impression materials. The inEos X5 captures these areas using multiple exposures so that every part of the surface is measured with the optimal exposure setting. This scan will take longer, but for instance, you would click on HDR multiple, double click on that area, you can see that it's focusing on the left-hand side using different exposures. Go ahead and fill in that area. Also on the right-hand side of the screen, we do have different acquisition options. If we were scanning an impression, for instance, before we started scanning, we would click on toggle impression scan so that it knows that it's scanning an impression. All right, so now that we've scanned our upper model, we can go ahead and scan the dies as well using capture rotation. We'll turn off our multiple HDR exposure, click on capture rotation. Because this particular case has 5 dies, we're going to go ahead and do a single die first of number 8. So click on capture rotation, single die, start. I'll go ahead and autofocus on the die. All right, next we'll go ahead and put our other 4 dies on. We're going to use the smaller cups, 1 die in each cup. Make sure one of the dies is in view in the middle of the box. Click on MultiDie and hit start. Alright, now to go ahead and stitch our dies into our model. If you come down to the bottom of the screen, you can see there's a check mark after each one is stitched in. Alright, all good to go. Next thing we're going to do is scan our Biocopy upper model. This is our pre-op model that the doctor sent and wants us to duplicate exactly. Because we chose Biocopy in the administration page, the catalog did show up already. But if we want to add additional catalogs, come over here to the right side of the screen, click on Add Catalog. You can add a bioreference catalog, a gingival mask catalog, or a Biocopy upper catalog, which we already have. Gingival mask catalog can be used when doing implants, or if you want to scan in a partial or something like that. I use the gingival mask catalog for that. Alright, so click on Biocopy upper. Remove our dies. Position our model. For our Biocopy scan, I'm going to position the model in pretty much the same position that I positioned my prepped model. So I want the anteriors facing the arm with my prepped model and in the same orientation with my Biocopy model. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the blue tack material to hold the model in place because I didn't base this, so it doesn't fit real good in the viced model holder. Alright, so we're going to click Capture Jaw, and for my Biocopy images, I click on Capture Reduced, hit Start. I'm going to go ahead and scan my pre-op model. Now you can go ahead and turn your model, see if it missed any areas you want to fill in. Double click on those areas. Alright, looks pretty good. Once we have all the data that we want, the software is going to try to stitch the upper jaw and the Biocopy upper models together. You can see the little time wheel here. If there's enough like data, the two models will stitch together, and you can see they did. Alright, now we can go ahead and go to our lower jaw. Position it on the arm. For lower jaw, I'm also going to use Capture Reduced. Hit Start. One of the great things about the inEos X5 scanner is while this is scanning, I can go ahead and work on the case that I scanned before. So it lets us become more efficient don't have to have your hands on the thing the whole time. It's just a lot faster. All right. That looks good. If we really wanted this area back here, we can double click on it. We'll position our model. All right. One other thing I want to talk about is over here on the right-hand side called Model Options. We have Complete Reconstruction or Reduced Reconstruction. For Complete Reconstruction, the complete model is calculated with the palette and model palette area. When you click on Reduced Reconstruction, the model is calculated as a dental arch without the palette and model area. So when we arrow forward later, if we use the Reduced Reconstruction, it'll cut out this area and the models will be rendered a little bit faster. All right, so go ahead and do Buckle Bite next because our lower model looks good. Go ahead and re-articulate our model. And place it on the model holder. Once we are still, it'll go ahead and autofocus. Once we've autofocused, go ahead and hit start to take the image. And here we go. Now we can arrow forward and continue on with our case. I hope this video has helped you to be able to navigate through the different scanning techniques with the inEos X5 scanner. It's a great leap in technology, and it's really helped to increase our accuracy and our efficiency at the lab. Thank you.